What it is, y'all, is your old boy Pilk, and I am ecstatic because Danmachi Season 4 has returned. Episode 12 is upon us. We have got to talk about this episode, because this is how you start the second half of a season. This is nuts. Right out of the gate, this episode goes hard. If you don't remember, I mean, there really is nowhere to go but hard, because not only did Belle and Ryu fall down, they kind of got drugged down into the lower depths of the dungeon, and we found out the Juggernaut is in fact chasing them. We don't have the conclusion of that yet. We do know that it, just jumping ahead here to get that storyline out of the way, we see Belle and carrying a very unconscious Ryu, and the Juggernaut is there, and it's just staring him down, and it is still, if recollection serves, and I have to go back and watch the other episode, I don't think it's 100% under the control of the other dude, but it definitely is being influenced. Like, that's why it is chasing Belle. Well, I'm sure there's other reasons why it's chasing Belle and Ryu, but still, like, it is 100% just going after him, and I think that's phenomenal. I mean, obviously not for them, kind of sucks for them, but from a story perspective, oh my god, it is so much fun. But we've got to talk about the main point of this episode. Before I do that, however, I want to talk about the intro, because the intro animation, all new, all different, and we got to see the Estrella Familia. Like, we got to see the whole Estrella Familia. We even got, like, clues to some of their interactions, and even more, like, to me, like, really exciting moment, because I don't think we've actually had it in the anime to this point. We got to see Anya, Chloe, and Lunar in their adventure. I say adventure, but they're various, because Anya and Chloe, whatever, doesn't matter. They're adventure outfits in the dungeon, ready to go, so we know that's coming. We even saw that in the episode. Hestia approached them, was like, I'm going to need some help. I need people. My folks are in trouble. Like, in trouble with a capital T. And I don't even think Hestia knows half. Uranos obviously knows. We got a lot of interaction from him. So just this episode, I'm not going to say it's all over the place. It was very, very, very well written, because you've got, like, 3, arguably 4 distinct plot threads happening, and they all happened in such a way that you never really lose track of what's happening. Like, it's really easy when you got that many plot threads to get muddled, but the I guess the direction of the writing in this episode was so good that it just was obvious. We go from point A to point B, and then sometimes we deviate to this other side, but it's very clear what is what. And I don't know about you guys, I am stoked for the next. I cannot wait for the next episode. Next week's episode cannot come fast enough, because I want to see what's going to happen with, obviously, Belle and the Juggernaut. For those that don't know, my intent was to catch up in the light novels. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. I'm an adult. I've got responsibilities. I've got a house. I've got children. Reading, I love reading these books. These books are phenomenal. If you've not read the light novels, I highly recommend it. But in reality, during the holidays with, the kids off school and all this stuff, catching up on a light novel is not the easiest task. So, I have all the light novels up through 17, just deviation here. So I do plan to catch up here really soon, but it just hasn't happened yet. So for me, I'm going into this completely fresh. I'm still in the middle of book 12, which was the beginning of the season. So, and believe me, there's more perspective. The books give you so much more. It's like reading the manga versus watching the anime. A lot of times the manga is a little more in depth. This is kind of that same situation. It's just the light novels so much more in depth. Anyway, deviation. Let's get back into it, because the meat and potatoes of this episode, was 100% the interaction of the rest of the Familia, obviously with Aisha and Daphne and Cassandra and all them. And they were trapped. Last we caught, they were trapped by the big 2-headed dragon. And we now get to see what it's capable of. And let me tell you, this thing is a formidable opponent. In fact, one of the first things we see is it breathes like this blue flame. They call it napalm. Or that was the translation, at least, that High Dive gave us. By the way, a lot of you guys have asked me where to watch this. 100% on High Dive. I have a High Dive subscription. Unfortunately, I don't have any sponsorship with them yet. We may fix that. But, if you want to watch this, I highly recommend it. I've had my subscription basically ever since the show started airing, and I've been really happy with it so far. If you guys want a full review of that down below, let me know. I'll definitely give you guys my full unbiased opinions on that service versus Crunchyroll, which I've had for years and years, and we can definitely talk about that. But that's not the point necessarily here. So getting back on track, because I will get distracted. So we knew that the dragon was there, and then we get to see that blue napalm, and it just instantly melts the shield, those big new crazy shields that Welf had just made. So it's intense. And then there's like this red mist that essentially, for all intents and purposes, deflects or almost like neutralizes magic. So this floor boss, which, by the way, they even mentioned multiple times in the episode, like, this thing's 2 weeks early. This thing's not supposed to be here yet. But here it is in all of its insanity. I'd say glory, but it's a horrifying prospect at the moment. And, the fam is just very distraught. Like, obviously there's those moments where everyone's like, this is kind of it, I guess. And of course, Cassandra, who basically counted the whole prospect out from the beginning, was like, yep, going off in the corner, and I'm going to go weep. And this is when Aisha's like, man, if only Belle was here. What am I talking about? Why am I relying on a dude? I'm Aisha. I'm going to go. And she just goes ham. She just goes full force right in on the fight. And literally is just like the rallying call to get the rest of the fam up and running. And then, of course, Haruhime does her boost. And she, who else does she affect? She affects Daphne. She affects Welf, Oka, and Mikoto. And she's like, I can do 4. And then, if I do 4, then I can heal. I won't pass out. This is how we're going to stay alive. But meanwhile, Cassandra is still just weeping in the corner. Daphne goes over there and is like, boom, we need you. And like literally pops her in the head. It's like, this is not the time to weep. This is not the time to feel sorry for yourself. This is the time to get up and to get moving. We need all hands on deck. And they really do. Even Lily, when she gets in the fight, because Lily is still like acting as more or less the coordinator / cheerleader, but she's 100%, like, you go over here, and she's the tactician of this whole thing. And she has been from the moment we got into the dungeon. And she's like, we need you here. Yeah, we need 2 healers. There's no way this is going to happen without a pair of healers. For those of you guys that play the mobile game, it reminds me a lot of, those early double Haruhime stall tactic days. Very much the same basic concept here. So we've got a ton going on. We've got support, we've got attack, and then, like, when it just feels completely insurmountable, when everything is going wrong, Lily pulls Mikoto back and is like, now's the time. And they literally use Mikoto's special magic attack, which is essentially just a gravity well. Like, opens up a gravity well around it, and then just, boom, like, the ceiling, for lack of a better way to put it, kind of caves in. Which is funny enough, and I didn't really mention it, but it's kind of like a turnabout of fair plays, because when the dragon first showed up, obviously the dragon then basically blocked them into this room, so there's no escape for them. As much as they want to run, they want to get out of here, there's no escape. They are trapped. So now it's trapped under this huge pile of debris, and that's when Oka, Welf, and Aisha just go ham. They just start hacking and slicing and just, like, literally they're just brawling at this point. They're just trying everything they can to keep it down. You've got some great moments where it starts to counterattack, and you got Oak up there with his axe, just slams the axe down on its snout, and it's like, nope. I mean, there are just some of the best fighting sequences we've seen in the whole franchise, arguably. Like, fight me in the comments all you want. This was some of the most intense action sequences we've had, and some of the just chef's kiss animations. There's some sloppy parts. I'm not gonna harp on that too much. I'm very, very happy. I'm gonna give it a solid 8.5 to maybe even 9 out of 10 for the animation. Some of the sloppiness, I get. I understand it's old habits die hard with a lot of these animation studios, and cutting corners has forever been a thing in anime. But the honest answer is it did not distract. It was not an issue. This episode was phenomenal. It was a great way to bring it back. There was no lull moment. It wasn't overwhelming, but there was no moment at which you're like, okay, well, it's the episode. Slow down a little bit. I'll take a breath. No, I was glued to the monitor. I'm like over here, like watching this thing intently. Even rewatched a few scenes and just went back and forth. It was a phenomenal episode. I'm gonna give this episode a solid, rock solid 9 out of 10, maybe even 9.5 out of 10. I'd really have to go back and rewatch a few aspects of it. I adored this episode. But you know what? I could gush all day, and I have a bad habit of dragging these reviews out, so I'm going to kind of call it there. You let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode. Are you excited for what's happening? Those of you that have read the light novels, no spoilers. Don't like to see spoilers in the comments. Some of us know things that are going to happen. Let's let the people that are watching the anime get it naturally. But I will say, this is not the end. There is so much more to come, and I am stoked to see the interaction between Belle and the Juggernaut, which will hopefully happen, in the next episode. If not, then definitely the episode after. But let me know if you guys are hyped. I'm crazy hyped. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. I'm going to be back next week with episode number 13, and hope to see you guys then. So excited. Like I said, it can't come soon enough.